Hello, I'm Alex Lifeson.
And I'm Geddy Lee, and we're here for a reason. I can't remember why.
Well, it's to tell you that we're so grateful and excited about your response to the anniversary of the Duchess Tiffin Talhood.
The what?
Yes, it's a major holiday here in Canada.
We're adding 17 more cities to our tour that will happen throughout the fall. North America, Canada, more shows.
Thank you so much.
We love you guys.
Through the years, Rush has had many ups and downs. Every band starts off and you struggle and you fight and you work really hard and you find your fan base. But then a down happens when John Rutsey had to leave the band. And I'm really thankful to John for helping to form and be with the band in the very beginning. And then we get Neil Peart. Of course, that changed everything. The man who could both play drums and write lyrics. And then Caress of Steel, where they felt that it could be over any time. And Neil's like, I'm going to go back to the farm dealership for the parts department because it's not going very well. The Down the Tubes tour. But then with 2112, the Declaration of Independence, where they said, no, we're going to make music our way, and the fans and we loved it. And then Moving Pictures. Rush found commercial success. New fans solidified the fans that already loved them. Moving Pictures did that. And the career just took off. And that had longevity. And Rush could just do what they wanted. They could be artists and musicians and go on tour and be themselves. So crucial to the DNA of Rush. When Neil loses his family, he lost his wife and daughter, ushering in a really dark period, a very low point in Rush's career. I call them the Ghost Rider years. It was the healing road for him, which ended in California when he found Carrie, which ushered in the comeback of Rush. And during that comeback, we got Vapor Trails. Rush was back. That announcement then that Rush was back is really just as big as the announcement now that they're back. That was so huge and changed everything because the comeback of Rush after the Ghost Rider years ushered in the busy years. Rush was so busy. They were touring, they were making records, they were on TV, movies were being made about them. We were listening, watching, and going to see Rush live all the time for upwards of around 15 years, all the way through R40. And it was amazing. But of course, R40, I had a feeling that it was probably the end, and it was the last time that I would see Neil. And about 5 years later, we lost Neil. And another announcement that changed everything. We lost the professor, Neil Peart, had passed away from cancer.
We have to announce that we've made a decision to go back on tour.
Hi, we're going back on tour. So we'll see you soon.
50-something tour. Another, seems like we're going up again. It almost gives you whiplash. So with this new announcement and this new tour, there is so much to talk about. We're going to talk about the new drummer. Will there be a keyboard player? Will there be new music? The tour ticket prices. So much to discuss, and I'm so glad you're here to do it. I am Eric. This is the Loud Boy Experience, and I say let's go. Pardon the pun, but our Rush family has been rocked. We've been rocked once again. I couldn't help myself because of what I call TNT. Tour, Nilles, and tickets. TNT. Very explosive combination.
Wow. Say it.
Wow.
We are blown away by the response to the announcement we made a few weeks ago that we're going back on tour.
The outpouring of response from all of us who have been following Rush for decades, and the whiplash reaction that we're having, and then we start thinking about it, and we start to get, of course, feelings about it, opinions about it. And I want to take this moment to compliment all of you. I want to thank all of you. About a week or so ago, I said to my wife, I want to talk to everyone about just civil discourse. Let's be civil to each other. We may have a wide variety of opinions about the new drummer and about Neil and Rush and the tour and ticket prices and all these different variables in this story. And yet I don't have to. I just want to say thank you because I have seen your comments on my channel alone for my last tour ticket video alone. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of comments, and yet everyone has been civil, kind, and respectful. We have so many varied opinions, so many different ideas and feelings and intense feelings about this situation. And yet, you guys overall have been amazing. It's a testament to our fan base. It is a testament to our Rush family. I want to thank you guys and congratulate you guys. I'm proud of you.
We are blown away by the response to the announcement we made a few weeks ago that we're going back on tour. And I cannot tell you how surprising and overwhelmed we are.
Totally blown away by the response.
Your reaction to the announcement of the tour, to Anika, and to ticket prices and all the surrounding issues has run the spectrum of feelings and ideas and opinions. Many of you just want to go. We just want to go see Rush, or we don't want to go. Or maybe we can't go because of money, or maybe the city's not close enough to us. Many of you can afford to go, and a lot of you have happily paid and are thrilled to go, and then a lot of you cannot afford to go see the tour. There's the new drummer, and a lot of you are excited and want to support Anika. I know I fall into that category, and yet I completely understand those of you who said, it's not Neil. And because it's not Neil, so many of you have said, it's not Rush. So there's a level of disappointment there. Some of you have even said that not only is it not Neil and it's not Rush, you've called this new tour a cover band. There's excitement for the new drummer all the way to some of you accusing them of being a cover band. Talk about a spectrum of ideas. And then so many of you can travel. It's close enough. You're within driving distance. Some of you are even flying in. So it's about the travel to the city. But some of you say it's just too far. The city isn't close enough to me. And those of you over in the UK and in England, some of you in Ireland, I've heard from people throughout Europe and up into the far reaches of Canada, down into Central and South America. I've heard from all of you who say, hey, Rush, what about us? It's not close to me. So it goes from everywhere, I can get to Rush to there's no chance I can ever get to Rush.
We just can't wait to get on stage and make all those mistakes that we've been practicing.
Well, I have.
Well, you don't have to practice those. They're
excellent.
They're excellent.
Excellent at mistakes.
For my last video alone, there are well over 500 comments. It is always my goal and hope and really duty to respond to every one of you. And over the past 3 days, I've spent 2 to 3 hours at least each day trying to respond to your comments. And I'd wake up and there's 50 more. And I go back and check later on that day and there's 50 more. There's well over 500 now. Ever since I started my channel here at the Loudboy Experience, I've wanted to reply and talk with every one of you because I want to. I want to get to know you. I want to hear your ideas and your opinions and your likes and your loves and the things that you don't like. And let's talk it out. Let's have some fun discussing our ideas. That's always my goal. A lot of you are longtime fans and you've been with Rush since the 70s. I've heard 77 a few times or even earlier. You guys have been there. You've been to Rush concerts and then a lot of you have paid like $5 to $8 to see Rush back in the 70s. And you're sharing these beautiful memories with all of us. And thank you for doing that. A lot of you have seen Rush 8 to 30 plus times. And I know there are some that are 100 plus. So amazing. So impressive. Me, I only got to see them 8 to 10 times, I believe. It's somewhere in that ballpark. And I really find it weird that I can't remember all of the specific, the count, and how many times I've seen Rush. But you guys have shared that with all of us. But I think a lot of us right now are trying to do calculations in our head and to figure out on an intellectual level, why are things so bloody expensive now? Which is the topic we're going to get to. But I think it's that juxtaposition that's happening right now where we're thinking about, man, I only paid $25 back for counterparts. Or I paid $19 for Roll the Bones. And then we're thinking, okay, now minimum is $400 and that's in the nosebleeds. And we're starting to figure out, is that inflation or is there something else going on? That is a bigger, wider conversation, but we are having it in this comment section. If there is corruption going on in the industry, then us talking about it is important. The only way we can fight them and make a change is to ultimately drag them into the light. We have to talk about them. We have to address them. We have to, in a civil way, share what's going on.
Please go to Ticketmaster or Rush.com to get your tickets. The resellers are having a field day out there, jacking up the prices, and just be aware of that. So go to the source.
I've heard from many of you that you are angry with Rush. Many of you have expressed your frustration and a little bit of anger at Geddy and Alex. A lot of you are angry at Ticketmaster. Some of you are angry with Live Nation. Given what I've learned about the industry, for instance, to rent certain arenas around the country, right, which is the size of venue that Rush plays, it's at minimum $1 million for one date. That's just renting the venue. That's not counting all of the other expenses. So that overhead is extremely high already. To make a profit, you have to make then $1 million plus, but we're not counting all of the fees. Some of you have reported that, all right, I paid $250 for a ticket, but my Ticketmaster fee was $178. That's pretty much accurate. Last time I mentioned Ray, of course, has been their manager since the earliest days. And I'm really thankful to Ray because he believed in them back in the beginning. Ray was there when all he could book were church basements and school dances, and maybe they made $25 Canadian dollars at the end of the night, but Ray was there and he helped and managed Rush from the beginning all the way through the big amazing years, those busy years, up until the end, if you will. Ray has been there, and in no way do I blame him for this, not at all, nor do I blame Geddy and Alex. I really don't. I honestly think the boys, of course, who doesn't want to use your skill set and your ability, but also just the love of music? I think these guys just want to play music. I really do. Who wouldn't miss that? Put yourself in their shoes for one moment and think to yourself, if I were Geddy Lee, all right, and I'm playing bass and I'm playing keyboards and I'm singing all at the same time, if I'm Geddy Lee, I would miss that. The love of 20,000 people before me. Okay, the energy and love that comes back for something that I had created, a song, okay, using my skills as an artist to entertain, but also connect with people. That has to be there. I know it is. Geddy once said, I thank my something heart every day for us, for the fan base, for the Rush family. Meaning Geddy is extremely thankful for us. And therefore, I have to assume and I want to believe that Geddy is not out to screw us. And the same for Alex. I think Alex just wants to play his axe and his jam on guitar, be with his best friend, and play these songs that he has loved for decades. I truly believe that in their heart of hearts as artists. Therefore, I don't believe it's a money grab. Do all of us need money and them as artists need money? Of course they do. And of course that is part of the equation, but I don't think it is the prime mover of the equation. As far as I know, the industry has an issue, and that is putting it extremely kindly. Prices, expenses overhead, everyone needing and wanting their cut, everyone needing and having a fee. Again, venue, local, state, and federal taxes above all of that, fuel prices, the cost to rent a venue. Let's put it into contrast for a moment. Recently, in the past several months, I saw a Dream Theater at a small theater, okay? And down in Texas, meaning it's a small venue with, I don't know, 500 to 1,000 seats in that range. I just saw Steven Wilson in a cool little playhouse, the Majestic Theater in Dallas. Those venues have to be so much less expensive than renting an arena. Of course they are. And guess what? We could easily afford Steven Wilson. We could easily afford to see the 40th anniversary tour of Dream Theater. But they're not Rush. Rush has the ability to sell out an arena, or to at least sell 80% capacity, enough to make it profitable. They can do that. But when Steven Wilson comes here to the States and when Dream Theater tours, they just don't have that ability. They just don't. They're not Rush. And therefore, Rush has to have the massive venues. They have to have the arenas. A lot of you are just disappointed and you're frustrated and you're sad that you can't get tickets. And really the cost of all of that we just talked about has boxed you out. I've read comment and I've responded to comment after comment after comment about how I'd love to see them. I just can't. I'd love to see them. I can't afford it. I want to bring my kid to see this. This is a second chance, but I can't afford it. And my heart goes out to you. A lot of us are in this boat. You're not alone. So many of you are just thrilled and so excited, and you've shared your stories and you bought your tickets and you're right, I'm going to go see them. I'm excited. I did pay this much and I know it's quite a bit, but I'm thrilled and excited. Guys, I'm with you. I'm so happy for you. I'm so glad you're getting to see Rush, and you're just happy to pay this money, and you're ecstatic to see Rush again, and you want to support Anika. I feel like I have to say it both ways, even though Geddy Lee, to be fair, in the announcement video said Anika.
Also, the way you guys have welcomed Anika Nilles into the Rush family has been very heartwarming. I know that she's very appreciative of that, and we're even more excited to get back on stage and play with her and to go through the plethora of songs that we're planning.
So a lot of you want to support and go see Anika, and that's great. I want to as well. And here's why. I can't fathom the pressure she is under. Think about it. You have been chosen to replace the greatest drummer of all time, and arguably one of the best bands of all time, certainly the best prog rock band of all time, Rush. And I cannot fathom, I really can't, the pressure she feels. She's thinking about that very first concert date that they have, and when the lights go up and she starts playing drums, she's probably thinking, I really hope I don't. I know this is what I'd be thinking. I'd be thinking, I swear, if I hit that snare just wrong, or if I speed up the tempo too much and I screw up the song, the pressure. Can you fathom the pressure? So my heart goes out to you, Anika. I imagine that you are practicing 24/7 right now. You are memorizing Rush songs, and even when you're not sitting at your set practicing, I'm sure you've got earbuds in and you're listening to Rush. This is what I would do. I would eat, sleep, and breathe Rush 24/7 to just try to prepare for the daunting, huge task set before you. You guys have said, what about a different name? A, they need it for marketing. B, there's all this 50 years of longevity. It just makes sense to call yourselves Rush. But I always thought Lee and Lifeson would be a cool name, right? Lee and Lifeson. Just sounds good. A lot of you said I would not miss Rush for anything in the world or any price. And a lot of you just simply said, in all caps, I love Rush. I have a ticket. I am going. And to that I say, let's go. I'm thrilled for you. Enjoy the show. A lot of you have expressed to me and mirrored back what I said in the last video, which is a second chance. A gentleman said, my 8-year-old just got into Rush just a few months ago. And at the time I told him that it's over. There's no more tour. There won't be any new Rush. And then he said, and then this happens. And then he did a little tear kind of face. And it made me think, well, crap. His kid's in the Rush. This is his second chance to bring his kid. And I have a feeling the tear meant that maybe he can't afford it. I had to assume something there, but this is a second chance. I told you about my friend Joel. His kids want to go. Imagine all the young ladies who will see Anika play with Rush and be inspired to play drums. You know, it shouldn't matter. It doesn't matter. Let's not talk about her being a woman or a girl anymore. Let's not, okay? If you can play and you can keep up and you can master these parts, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if you have an X or Y chromosome. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman.
Downside for you, my friend, is that we have to go back into the gym.
No,
Yes, we do. We do. Get ready. Are you ready for that?
I'm ready. I'm
Okay,
ready.
Good.
1, 2, yeah.
Good.
Finished.
Yeah, you're good. You look great.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
A lot of you have mentioned different health issues affecting both Alex and Geddy. Alex with his arthritis, he has mentioned in the past that he suffers from it in his hands alone. And a lot of you have mentioned Geddy's voice. With regard to the arthritis, Neil suffered from it. He spoke about it before the end, and Alex has spoken about it through the years. I know how crippling it can be. Because of MRIs and doctors, I have been diagnosed with arthritis in my own neck because of my past neck surgeries. I suffer from arthritis. I can tell you when a storm is coming. I can tell you when there's barometric pressure changes outside because of the arthritis. And it cripples me because it shoots up into my head, and that is a chronic, debilitating sometimes condition that I deal with. So it must be very difficult for Alex to have this. A lot of you have brought up Geddy's voice, and you have said that even in R40, he could not quite keep up with the older songs. He did his very best, and when I saw R40, he didn't sound too bad, but 10 years has gone by. How is Geddy's voice doing now? It is a big question mark. We don't know. What you're doing, though, is you're holding Rush to a very high standard of excellence. There's nothing wrong with that. That's all Rush has done their entire career, is held themselves to the highest standard of excellence. They push themselves to achieve excellence. Many, many, many of you have said, I'm just going to wait to see it on YouTube. One of you said, I'm going to wait to see the phone videos that come from the different concerts. So many of you have mentioned, quote, DVD, but of course these days it would be a Blu-ray. I've been asking for a 4K Blu-ray this time. Shoot it, edit it, and master it in 4K HDR. That's what I'm hoping for, and Rush, please do that. Please give us 4K. Give us the very best quality with at least 5.1 or Dolby Atmos sound. And come on, you know, it will be a spectacular presentation of the 50-something tour. And so many of you said, I'm going to wait for stream. But then a lot of you said, could there be a live stream? What if there was a live stream of a concert? And I thought that's a pretty cool, like a pay-per-view live stream, right? You log in, you pay, and you get to watch. But better yet, some of you thought, hey, what if it's in the theaters? Yes. Okay. I've gone to go see some, quote, live presentations like riff tracks that does, you know, where they riff different movies and stuff. I've gone to see them in the theater. Imagine going to one of those theaters. I have one near me where they have the really comfy chairs. And they bring you whatever food you want. They bring you burgers and fries and shakes and drinks, like, you know, one of those places, like a tavern kind of place. Imagine sitting there, picking out an amazing food and watching Rush live, which is a perfect segue to something that I've mentioned in these comments, the Rush BQ. Instead of barbecue, Rush BQ. I think it'd be so amazing to have a gathering to where we get together outside, we cook out, we eat steak, we listen to, and we watch Rush together. We share our story. We get to know each other face to face as we just enjoy, you know, communing with each other. The Rush BQ. Boy, would I love to arrange that. Does that sound good to you guys, the Rush BQ? So I think that's something that I would love to see happen. If you think it's a great idea, get with me. Yes, the first annual Rush BQ. I think it'd be so cool. A lot of you share entire paragraphs of your story, your Rush history, how many times you've seen them, what you paid for this tour, whether you can go or not. It's just, you share so much with all of us, and I want to thank you. It's really great. And this is also why I do want to eventually get to and respond to all of you. You took the time to write, and I'm sure a lot of you are actually hunting and pecking on a keyboard on your phone, and that takes even longer. So I see you, and I'm very thankful to the comments. I know it's not just for me. You're sharing with all of us in the Rush family. For this last video alone, again, well over 500. So I thought I'd show you some of these. I'm not going to belabor it and go too long, but I did want to share some of them. What you see on your screen right here are just some of the most recent one. I saw Rush in 81 for the first time. And then he said, for Clockwork Angels, I took my 16-year-old daughter, $200 a seats. Now, this time, the $1,000 a seat and $400 service fee is too expensive. And my wife bails in, and she'll have to figure out what I do with an extra ticket. So, yeah, thank you, Jody. And big time Rush fan here. Saw him lots of times. Prices are up 50 to 200% since 2019. And that was James. Here's Mike. Got tickets for the Toronto show. Lower section, $480, and includes a $60 Ticketmaster extortion fee. That's something I've heard a lot from you guys. You're calling the Ticketmaster fee extortion. Yeah. So, dude, thank you, Mike. All right, next up, George. Been a Rush fan since 76. And between then, 94, seen him 10 times, but I have to pay the bills. My kids snagged me 2 for Toronto at $200 per seat and took them. And my kids said to me, this is Batman, by the way. That's his username. They said, Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday. You've got some great kids there. I'm happy for you, Batman. Who knew Bruce Wayne was married with kids? All right, here's another one. I saw Counterparts in 1994, Test for Echo in 97. Me too. And he goes on to talk about the Vapor Trail tour and stuff like that. And, this is what I want. I can't read it all. Okay, this is not going to be a 10-hour video where I read every comment. But if you go to the Rush Fans React ticket prices, please go and read these. Go check out these comments because a lot of them are just great. I mean, look at the size of that paragraph. You guys are sharing so much. And of course, we have right here. I'll wait for the stream. $1,000 tickets. I did Last in Line twice, several times in Ohio. 7 or 8 years ago, the Ticketmaster. Blah, blah. All right, let's see. This one is in Spanish. Here's one from Gary. In the summer of 80, Colorado, one of my classmates turned me on to Rush with 2112. Me too. 2112 was my beginning. We both were 15. I was 14. Very cool. Thank you, Gary. I've got an 8-year-old daughter who's in. Here, I love this. Check this out. I have an 8-year-old that a few months ago got into Rush. Okay. This is that second chance. This is so wonderful for so many of you that your kids have now come into this, this 10-year period since our 40. A lot of kids have grown up and they've discovered, or you've shown them, and they've heard Rush and they're into Rush now. So this is that second chance. So cool. This is the case right here. 8-year-old. I've seen them many times over the years, and I told him, his son who's 8, that they would never tour again. And then the news came out about the tour. And there's that tear face that I told you about. It's done. The lyrics are Nilles, and we all have absorbed them throughout all our time. Hope they will have new songs and old songs. And that does bring up this other topic. So many of you have asked, wondered, and or wanted, hey, will there be new music? Will Geddy and Alex record with Anika and record new Rush music? And that's just a big question mark. Of course we don't know. They may not even know that at this point. I do know that in that announcement video, both Geddy and Alex were thrilled about the things that they were playing. And so I'm sure they had a recorder going. So they're getting down ideas. $20 says there are hard drives full of ideas that could be potential songs, which brings up the whole other subtopic, right? I'm glad these things are up right here. You can actually sit. And what I'll do is I'll kind of scroll as I'm talking. It brings up this other subtopic, which is, should there be new Rush music? Is it actually knew Rush music without Neil. A lot of you have brought that up as well. The question is this Rush? And so this circles all the way back to the feelings and the opinions that we have. They are passionate. Because these are based upon decades of loving and following Rush, their music and tours and stuff like that. I'm just kind of scrolling through. You guys can probably read some of them as I go. Just support local, live, independent music and venues. Here's another one, Sigma. People don't get that they haven't played in 10 years, so I think it's a fair price. Okay, there we go. Like I said, varied opinions. Try to buy 2 tickets. They're not that great of seats. It was $1,100. Looked at for a minute, and I closed the page. So the price trapped them out. Thank you. Like I said to everybody, here we go. Everybody wants a cut. That's the problem. Okay, we talked about this earlier. Then when all of the taxes or whatever you show wanted to become affordable. Yeah, it's a Pandora's box. I know. Everyone wants a cut of this. Here's one right here. I will choose a path that clear. I will choose free bootlegs. My favorite band of all time performs a miracle, telling the world they're going on tour after 10 years. I had resigned myself after R40 that was it. Me too. No more Rush. I'm old enough to know that that's life. Stuff happens and you deal with it. Things end. People die. It sucks. Nothing lasts forever. Now Rush is back on tour next year, and I was excited to get in that virtual line for tickets. Yeah, I won't be able to take my kids one last time. The nosebleeds at Kia Forum were $360. Who has that kind of money? Yeah. You're not alone. You're not alone. Asylum in Cleveland, 74. Whoa, that's going way back. I'm rich, so it doesn't matter what it costs. Rush is probably making $15 a ticket. Live Nation is taking the rest, and Ticketmaster. Great point. Overhead. We talked about this earlier. Cost of the venue, the cost of doing business. My tickets on the floor are $400 with fees. And even if they were selling the tickets for $1, you know that the resellers would buy them up and sell them for much more money. So you cannot win. It is what it is. But I'm happy I'm going. And I am too. I'm happy you're going, dude. Well, I know what I've always told you. Selfishness was wrong. All right, Rush lyric. People can barely afford to pay their mortgage payments and buy food these days, let alone disposable income for any live concert. Check out these comments, guys, okay? I could keep scrolling for another 20 minutes because the second I get to the bottom of this page, it opens up a much more to scroll. It goes on. Here, echoes of the salesman, okay? Quoting Spirit of Radio. It goes on for a long time. The comments are there. I would love for you guys to if you're interested in what the fan base is saying, this is a great document. We are now documenting what we're going through. Please keep sharing. Please keep talking. Please discussing this with one another. And you can use my videos for it. And what I have here is a massive, at the moment, for just this video. I have more in other videos as well. A few hundred more minimum. But just this video. And this is a great way for us to just speak our minds. Whether we love it, whether we hate it, whether we can go, whether we can't go. Please keep talking. And it doesn't have to be just here. There's Twitter, there's Facebook. Keep talking about this, especially those of us who see a problem with the industry. We cannot solve this problem without ushering in a new age where we actually drag all the crap into the light and say, hey, let's do something about this. And then one of you asked, can't Geddy and Alex do something about this? And they pointed out a couple of other artists that actually fought against the system and tried to get lower prices. And then brings up the question, is this entire thing, right? The backbone onto which you have to tour and the infrastructure that is there, the whole commerce pipeline, from Ticketmaster to the venues to transportation, is it just too expensive, but is it a monopoly? It does beg the question. Again, I don't have the answer, but I'm going to ask the question, and one of you actually posed the same question.
Thank you so much. We love you guys.
Next time, we're going to talk about some Rush lyrics, and we're going to apply these to this whole touring phenomenon. I am Eric. This is the Loud Boy Experience. You guys have a good night.